Let's go across live to Senior Congress Leader, Minister of State in the Union Government, Ashwani Kumar. He's joining us on this broadcast, and I want to take it to Kumar one by one, the charges that are being leveled against Robert Vadra, and now there are some balance sheets and court orders that have been put out in the public domain. I want to begin by quoting first the Haryana High Court. This is what Arvind has quoted, which says that there are facts which are enough to establish a nexus between DLF Limited and the government to grab the property in question. It's a matter that's gone to court. The High Court has ruled that prima facie they believe that this was a deal where DLF was benefited by the actions of the government. Is that not, sir, in several senses, a very strong indictment of the government's actions?
Well, my understanding on your first point is that the judgment from which you have read out selectively has been under appeal in the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court has stayed the judgment. I don't think it is appropriate for us to discuss a matter which is sub judice. But I want to make 2 points. In this entire debate in which we have heard reckless allegations being flaunted ad nauseum for the last several days, there is the politics of it and there is the principle of it. Let me first talk about the principle of it. There is a party, a so-called fake crusader, now a fake politician, trumpeting up fake allegations, insisting on the countrymen that his versions must be treated as gospel truth. And there are other so-called alleged conspirators in the grand conspiracy theory, which is the state of Haryana and DLF, who have come out with their version and have rebutted point-wise every single allegation that has been made against them. Now here is a person who asserts a state of things. There are other people who deny it. Who is going to be the arbiter? Who is going to be the adjudicator? And who is going to decide the truth of these statements alleged? Certainly not in the media in a 10-minute debate. Certainly not an anchor. Certainly not me speaking here. And certainly not one fake crusader of India against corruption, who first talked of the Lokpal bill, let it relegate to the background, then opened 14 files of senior ministers, allowed that to lapse. Now he has come up with documents which he did not uncover or discover. Remember, Rahul, these are the statements and documents filed before the registrar of companies.
No, but these documents are very interesting, Dr. Ashwani Kumar. Let me cite from them and get you to respond point by point. Because Robert Vadra says, and DLF also says, that the flats were not purchased at throwaway prices, that market rates were paid for them, and each flat was about 5 crores. Whereas there is a balance sheet which is now attached as an annexure in what Arvind Kejriwal has revealed, where Robert Vadra himself is declaring to the registrar of companies that 7 flats were sold for 5 crores. This is a declaration before the registrar of companies. Is there not some prima facie evidence that's now been put out in the public domain?
Well, I don't know. I don't know where you are reading from and what you are reading and what Mr. Robert Vadra's and what DLF's reply to that will be. It is for the registrar of companies to issue notices to them. It is for, if he so desires, it is for the registrar of companies to come at a prima facie view of whether a prima facie case is made out or not. It is not for me here to discuss and analyze documents that you are reading out from the studios. That's precisely the point I want to make today on your channel. How do you fix culpability and wrongdoing? Certainly not through media trials.
But that's precisely the point, Dr. Ashwani Kumar, that Arvind Kejriwal is raising. The fact that you've got the finance minister who controls the income tax department coming out and saying that there is no case for an IT inquiry. The fact that, this is what Robert Vadra himself is declaring. And you've got the law minister rushing to Robert Vadra's defense. If this is the sort of counsel he has, these are the sort of people who are lobbying in his favor, what possibility is there that an independent inquiry will take place, that the ROC will inquire, that the income tax department will do their job? There's almost no hope of that happening, sir.
Well, look, take the reverse. If the finance minister had not given his view, if the law minister had not given his views, The registrar of companies is not going to come on your television channel, nor are you going to invite the registrar of companies. Who is going to give the alternate version? I'm sure the finance minister, being a responsible lawyer and the finance minister of this country, must have had occasion to look at it at least on a prima facie basis. And please let me correct you on record. What is it that the finance minister stated? And I entirely agree with what he stated. He stated that transactions between two private citizens, business transactions, cannot by inference lead to criminal culpability. What is wrong about it? Let us assume there's a transaction between you and your employee. Can anybody say that just because two important people have got into a transaction, there must of necessity be a quid pro quo of an illegal nature? The state government of Haryana has disputed it. DLF has disputed it. Mr. Vadra, I believe also in 1 or 2 days ago, I saw something in the paper, has denied it. So who is going to determine the truth? Certainly not the TV channels.
No, and but it doesn't seem that the government is prepared to understand the truth either, Dr. Kumar.
No, I'm sorry.
No, let me cite one more instance. I want you to respond, but I want to cite one more instance of this nexus between DLF and the Haryana government. Just hear me out, because there is a 350-acre property for which international bids are invited. 3 companies apply along with DLF, but other bids are rejected on technical grounds because they haven't run a golf course earlier. When such facts are put out in the public domain, does it not make people wonder, Dr. Kumar, that was there something wrong going on? 3 big companies, 2 of them have their license, 2 of them have their bids rejected because they hadn't run a golf course earlier.
Is it a law that you can't reject the bids of people who, according to the terms and conditions of the tender, do not qualify? And if they are aggrieved, are they not competent to go to the courts? Every day Haryana government is being hauled in the courts. Why don't they go in the court and get justice? The law will take its course. We will abide by the decisions of the courts, but we will certainly not have any private citizen, leave alone one individual or another you are talking about, being hauled over the coals and charged with criminal culpability on the basis of innuendo, insinuation, inferential conclusions drawn merely because the individual concerned happens to be related to the tallest leader of the Congress party. Are we not entitled to say that there is nothing but politics in it? There is nothing but politics in it. There is not an iota of prima facie evidence that can lead to a conclusion, even on a prima facie basis, of an illegality. And that's the point I'm trying to make.
Let me cite one more instance, sir, about unsecured loans, where DLF has come out and said that no unsecured loans were given. This is in response to the allegation that Arvind Kejriwal first leveled. Now there is apparently a balance sheet which has been put out as an annexure, where Real Earth Estates Private Limited, one of Robert Vadra's companies, in 2009 and 2010, in their own balance sheet declared that there is a loan from DLF Limited for 5 crores. Now people would wonder, and just look at this logically, Dr. Kumar, if I wanted to buy a property from DLF or any other customer went to them, would they get an interest-free loan from the corporate to buy a property? That money is then used to buy property with that corporate. How does that happen? No other company would allow it. Does this not indicate that there's something wrong?
Rahul, it's not fair. It's not fair of you to put these questions to me without me having looked at what a balance sheet says, what the other company has said. It is between the two of them to explain. Let the formal thing be done by the registrar of companies, and I have no doubt whatsoever, whatever the truth will come out.
No, but Dr. Kumar, I must press you further on this. I must press you further on this. If I wanted to buy a property from DLF or any other real estate company, would I get a loan from that company to buy that property when no interest is charged from me? The company itself gives me a loan to buy their property. Would that happen to any other customer who's not the son-in-law of Ms. Gandhi?
Knowing an extraordinary job that you have done for Headlines Today, if you went to the proprietors of Headlines Today and said, if you want me to continue with Headlines Today, I want to be an equity shareholder in your company, but I don't have the money, could you please grant me loan? I won't be surprised if they did, because of the job you have done. Now, the fact remains, it's a matter of comfort. It's the matter of comfort A has with B. Now, I'm not commenting specifically on the transaction you are talking about, because I'm not qualified to do that. It is a matter of fact between the two people concerned who enter into a business transaction. I'm here only to question the politics of this so-called fake crusader against corruption. He has chosen a person for maligning. He has chosen a private citizen for calumnizing only because he wants to strike at the Congress leadership, and that is why we are here even talking to you. Otherwise,
No,
how many people's causes
then what's the
will
difference?
you take up?
India Against Corruption is asking, what's the difference between the unsecured loans that Kanni Modi got into so much trouble for, and what Robert Vadra has got?
Look, I'm not here going to comment on two different fact situations. I don't even know the context. I don't even know the exact facts you are quoting from a document which you have, which I don't have. All I know is that in the last several days, detailed rebuttals have been given, and today the government of Haryana is the state government that has held a press conference and given point-by-point rebuttals. Surely you must presume in their favor. There's the law says under section 114 of the Evidence Act that there's a presumption of regularity in the course of official business. It is of course open to the likes of Kejriwal to rebut that presumption, but he will do that in a court of law and not on TV channels.
That's an important point you make, and I take that argument.
Citizens of this country cannot be defamed.
I take that argument
Citizens
forward.
of this country cannot be defamed.
Dr. Ashwani Kumar, for joining us with your thoughts, thank you very much.